In this video, we go check out some local parks here in northern Utah. We search for a very elusive winter visitor to the state. Hawk on the Lens joins me and I talk about my top 5 targets for 2026. Come with me on this journey and let's see what birds we can find. What's up everybody, back with another video today, and I'm joined with Hawken from Hawk on the Lens. Make sure you check out their channel. We actually started the year birding together January 1st, and this is gonna be our last adventure of 2025 as well. You won't be seeing this until a couple weeks into January. Now we're out here actually looking for Bohemian waxwings, and these birds are almost identical to cedar waxwings. They're a little bit bulkier. They have a reddish undertail covert, while the cedar waxwings have a yellowish, whitish undertail covert. And unfortunately, we haven't even seen cedar waxwings yet, except for right when we started today at my parents' house where we basically met up. Now, throughout today, we're gonna be hopping parks and looking for other things too. Cackling geese would be a cool bird to find, especially since we're park hopping. But I'm also gonna be talking about my top 5 targets of 2026. Birds that I wanna see this year. It'll give you hints on where I am heading in my next big adventure. So stay tuned, let's see what birds we can find. So far today, we've seen 3 living creatures. The first one is a mule deer, just sitting in the back of the park. It's always cool to see those wandering through the neighborhoods. We're actually up in like the Alpine area, so it's kind of close to the base of the mountains, and deer wander through our yards pretty much all the time. At least when I was a kid, they did. Over here, we have the #1 killer of birds, an outdoor cat. I really wish people would just keep their cats inside, but what are you gonna do about it? And then lastly, we did pick up a bird, finally. Dark-eyed junco is my favorite sparrow species on the planet, and the Oregon subspecies, which is my favorite subspecies of the dark-eyed junco, and the one that we have most commonly here in Utah. We're now finishing up kind of this little trail that we're on, walking through a park, and we haven't even seen any cedar waxwings yet. So not having the best of luck. The sun is also not really coming out because the sky is this foggy, grim cover right now. Not a lot of luck so far, but we'll finish up this trail and see if we can find anything else. All right, so what are my targets for 2026? Obviously in 2025, we had a lot of targets. We had great gray owl, which we ended up seeing. We had pileated woodpecker, which we ended up hearing, not seeing. So still gotta get that one on the channel. But this year we have some exciting birds as well. I'm actually gonna start off with a local possibility, and that's the white-winged crossbill. This is a bird that has evaded me over and over again. They're not an easy bird to find in the state, but they are definitely a bird that is possible to see. So white-winged crossbill is going to be our #5 bird on the list. Obviously, this winter, we're going to head to a few hotspots where they can be found on a regular basis. And we're just gonna hope that the finch forecast is correct. Mostly because the finch forecast is showing that the finches are gonna come down in full force. And if that holds true, the white-winged crossbills should be part of that. They're finches, they're northern finch species, and hopefully a lot of them move further south. So yeah, we're gonna move to another park, and I'll continue on my top 5 targets of 2026. We arrived at our next location, Highland Glen Park, and scanned the pond for anything out of the ordinary. A small group of redheads swam close to shore, offering us incredible views. Redheads are a group of ducks in the genus Aethia, which also includes ringneck ducks and canvasback, among others. They're a diving duck opposed to a dabbling duck, meaning that they spend a significant amount of their time underwater looking for food. The males are absolutely stunning, with a slightly tinted blue bill and bright red head, hence their name. They can also be found throughout North America at different times of the year, making them a fan favorite amongst birders. Along our path hopped a song sparrow. The best way that I can describe these little birds' chip call is that it's like the sound a rodent makes. A small peep here and there from the bushes during non-breeding season tells you a song sparrow is nearby. Back on the water, a ring-billed gull glided across the surface with ease. It gets its name from the black ring dividing its yellow bill. Of course, it wouldn't be a local park without mallards present as well. These are by far the most abundant bird species on the water, but they are still magnificently beautiful despite how common they are at most parks. We just arrived here at Highland Glen Park, and we've already seen some awesome species. As you saw, we saw some redhead ducks, and then in this tree right here, downy woodpecker. In fact, it's still here. It doesn't care that we're around. These parks are really cool for photography specifically because a lot of these birds are more used to people. And so you can get way closer to these birds without spooking them compared to being like in the mountains somewhere on a hiking trail. We're gonna continue walking and see what other birds we find. So the number 4 target on my list for 2026 targets is going to be the elegant trogon. Now I know for some people this would be a lot higher. I just think for me, it's a beautiful bird and I really would love to see it. Obviously that's why it's in the top 5, but the other birds on this list, I've just either been searching for longer or I'm just a little bit more hyped about. So yeah, elegant trogon, number 4 for this year. Beautiful species, can only be found on a small little part of southern Arizona, I believe, maybe further along the southern border. I'm not exactly sure. On screen, I'll be putting range maps when available. But yeah, beautiful species, beautiful coloration, and we should be able to get that this year. You probably know where we're going at this point, but if you don't, the other birds will definitely give it away.
Hawken and I continued walking through the wet, rainy weather looking for birds. Out on the pond, a new species of bird emerged, the pied-billed grebe, repeatedly diving and emerging from the murky depths. A new gull species caught our eye, the California gull and the state bird of Utah. In fact, it might be the only gull represented amongst the state birds of the United States. We also got some great comparison shots between the California and ring-billed gulls, the biggest difference being the dark eye of the California and the light eye of the ring-billed gull. A few steps further, we found what we were looking for, a flock of cedar waxwing. Unfortunately, there were no Bohemian waxwing among them, each having a light yellow undertail instead of a dark red.
Number 3 target on my list for this year is the Lawrence's goldfinch. We've attempted to find this bird many times in Southern California, and we just haven't had the luck. We've gone to a few places where they're found regularly, but I really haven't done any dedicated trips to find these kind of nomadic bird species. So Lawrence's goldfinch is a priority for this year for the many trips that I take to Southern California throughout the year. The next 2 are arguably, I don't know, they're amazing birds, both of them. Both of them are going to be very tough to find. We're going to have to get lucky and hope that we just are in the right place at the right time. But let's continue birding around here and see what other birds we find.
Despite the rain and cold weather, the birds didn't seem to be bothered at all. An orange and black sparrow species emerged from the thick underbrush, a spotted towhee, showing off its blood-red eye. A screeching call alerted us of a bird in the canopy above, a Woodhouse's scrub jay surveying the surroundings from the highest point in the park.
Target number 2 for 2026 is going to be the elf owl. Smallest owl in North America, maybe the smallest owl in the world, not exactly sure, but this is going to be probably the hardest to find bird on my list. That's what the great gray owl was for me last year. We ended up finding it. Elf owl on the list. We're obviously going to try our best to see that. And now I have the night vision binoculars as well. So probably going to be, if we do find it, we're going to be able to get some footage of said owl as well. Really excited to find this bird again. If you have any guesses on where we're going this year for 2026 trip, throw them down in the comments below. Still hanging out here at Highland Glen Park, we've seen a variety of different species, including some obscured views of a white-crowned sparrow, as well as some obscured views of a northern flicker. So a lot of birds adding to the list as we walk along these trails. The sun just barely peeked out from the clouds finally after an hour or 2 of birding. Yeah, Hawken and I are just enjoying our time here. Make sure you go check out Hawken's videos. He makes some incredible content. And go make sure you follow him on Instagram because there's some surprises coming up there as well.
At this point in the day, there didn't seem to be much more to see. Our Bohemian waxwings were nowhere to be found, and there didn't seem to be any cackling geese either. My eyes caught some movement in the trees above, and suddenly my old friend the downy woodpecker was there again, horizontally inching its way across the branches. Also, I forgot to mention this, but Hawken got a brand new camera and got to test it out during this adventure, so make sure you go check out that video. I'm not gonna lie, this guy got me good. My heart jumped into my chest.
So what is the number 1 target of 2026? And it might not come to a surprise to those of you who have watched the channel for a long time. Montezuma quail is the bird that I want to see the most this year. It's my number 1 wanting to see bird in the US in general. I have an opportunity to see that bird this year in southeastern Arizona. So if you guys guess southeastern Arizona, I give you a pat on the back, or if you put it down in the comments, I'll give you kudos, of course. So Montezuma quails are absolutely incredible, but they're very difficult to find unless you get lucky with them or you can see them, you know, at a feeder setup. So we're really gonna try for them, but we'll see. So elfowl and Montezuma quail, our top two, are gonna be the hardest to find. There's some honorable mentions I wanna throw in there as well. Red-faced warbler, I really wanted to fit it on this list. Not gonna be able to do so. And then ruddy turnstone is kind of a nemesis bird, or a bird that I should have on my life list that I've just struggled to see. So those are two additional birds for you guys.
Outpaces it in a lot of ways. First of all, I think the photos and videos are gonna look slightly...
Just a nice day of slow birding. Make sure to subscribe to Hawk on the Lens, and what's your top targets of 2026? Thanks for joining me on this journey. I hope to see you all next time on Broadhead Birding.